We are back on the afternoon show. The time is 4:26, and we are just continuing to just really enjoy this afternoon, right, Darlene?
We are, and you know what? And when you think about it, did you notice that? Did you catch that transition there?
I did.
Okay, gotcha.
I did.
I guess it wasn't that good.
I mean, it's so no.
You all are like, okay, wait a minute, where's she going with this? But the name of the song by Janet Jackson is When I Think of You. So I'm like, when you think about it, today is International Day of Education.
Yes.
So we are here in the studio right now. We've got a guest. We've got Karina Slaughter, the Senior Vice President of Early Education at Chicagoland. She is going to talk to us about International Day of Education. And I joked with you and Karina in the commercial break while we were listening to the music. Both of you were probably that kid, went to school every single day and sat in the front of the class. Karina, what about you? Did you?
Every single day.
Every single day.
No matter what. I was always at school.
Even when you told your mother, mother and father, I don't feel good. I just can't make it today.
There were no exceptions. I was there every day. My mom made sure I was there.
Did you have perfect attendance too?
I did.
There we go. I did too. Atiba, did you?
I did not. I did not. And even if I did, well, that's another story.
Okay, so we're going to be talking about International Day of Education and the importance of early childhood. I mean, of kids going to school pre-K. Don't wait too late.
No.
I told you I missed a couple of days, so that's where that comes from. So let's talk, Karina, about Chicago Commons. What do you guys do? Just talk about the good work that you do in the city of Chicago.
Absolutely. So thank you, first and foremost, Darlene and Atiba, for having me. I really appreciate this opportunity. And essentially, Chicago Commons has been around for over 128 years. And we provide high-quality early education services, senior services. We provide family-centered support. And we even have an arm through our Family Hub that provides adult education opportunities. And so the premise of our relationships in the community is built on breaking down systemic barriers in under-resourced communities and making sure that we are empowering families to thrive across generations.
So you're talking about, today we're talking about that early education and the importance of black kids getting into school sooner than later.
Right, absolutely. And so our services primarily, we provide services to children as early as 6 weeks, and then we go all the way through 12 years of age.
So we're not just talking about pre-K.
No, we're not just talking about pre-K. And so we will take the smallest of babies, and we really provide hands-on learning opportunities for them within the classrooms. We provide wraparound services for their parents. We provide nature-based play. We are directly operated centers. We have a Reggio Emilia approach that really speaks to the intentionality behind children being the co-creators of their learning environments, and teachers follow that lead.
Oh, wow. And this is Reggio?
Yes, Reggio Emilia approach.
Wow. Okay, so we can control what we learn.
Yes, teachers.
Ms. Slaughter, thank you so much for joining us. I'd like to delve a bit more into the pre-K thing because we found, tell us about the data we know about when there's early intervention in a child's education, 2, 3, 4 years old. Why is that time so pivotal?
Absolutely. So the 0 to 5-year-old time frame is the most formative years for children's development. It is the time where they learn their social skills, where their linguistic skills are developed, where they're experiencing math and cognitive development is fostered. It's where you learn what to be fearful of, what to embrace. And so getting children into those early opportunities the soonest that we can will give them the greatest opportunity to succeed later on in life.
Is that why do you feel like then, so in black communities, that the kids are sometimes at a disadvantage? Is it because we don't get them into school or in a learning atmosphere before they are 4 years old? You're saying 2, 3 years old.
Yeah, absolutely. And so sometimes I do believe that it has to do with high-quality programming, access to that high-quality programming.
You don't want just a babysitter.
Right, exactly. And so that is where Chicago Commons comes in, with providing those high-quality education and learning opportunities to children in under-resourced communities. And so learning more about what's available in your community and getting involved in a program that can help your child succeed and yourself succeed the best way possible.
Wow. That was just something else right there.
Yeah, and we're just getting started.
We're just getting started. And I'm glad that you said get them in as soon as you can, because I was just thinking 4. 3-4 years old for pre-K.
Yeah, my
but
kids
she's
didn't start
saying
school until they were like 9. So.
I was 21 when I started. But that's why we have Chicago Comments here, so that we can talk about what everybody else listening out there needs to be doing right now.
What we're going to do right now is just take a real quick break for News with Robin.
Welcome back, everybody. You're listening to WVON, and we are joined in the studio with Karina Slaughter, Senior Vice President of Early Education with Chicago Commons. And she's here today because today is International Day of Education, and she's here to speak about the importance of early education in the Black community. And Karina, thank you again for sticking around with us and joining us. And I want to, of course, extend an invitation to other educators out there, other teachers and superintendents and any educator out there. Give us a call at 773-591-1690 and join in on this conversation on International Day of Education. We were talking earlier just about the number of children and the importance of today, significance of today, and 1 in 4 children here in the city actually start school earlier than they're supposed to. Why do you think that is? Is it because of the money? And are the programs that you guys have to offer, are those free?
Yes. So we have Head Start programming, and the Head Start program is free to qualifying families. And so we do, most of the families that qualify for Head Start programming are within a certain ratio of the federal poverty guidelines. And so definitely we have free programming available to families as early as 6 weeks.
So let me ask you this. Are people taking advantage of that? Are families taking advantage of this opportunity of getting their kids enrolled in school earlier, or is it you're having a problem with the parents? They know about it, but they're just not doing anything about it.
You know, there are some struggles with parents enrolling in programming and seeing the value of it early on. A lot of families will lean on other family members until the children are older, and maybe it's because they feel like safer. But early childhood environments are safe, and we do a lot to make sure that those environments remain safe, and then you get the attentive care. And so there's value in not having children sitting at home and waiting until they get older, but also, like sending them to school sooner.
Yeah, I'm still so amazed at how many kids know how to work this technology, the iPads and all that stuff. But for so many of them, that's their education, that's their instruction for the day.
Absolutely.
You mentioned something earlier, a phrase that you just kind of let it slide on in, but I'd never heard it before. And I want to ask you about it. What is nature-based play?
Absolutely. And so nature-based play really has to do with introducing natural environments into the early childhood environments internally. And so you may see on our playgrounds logs that are meant for play and balancing, but it looks like a regular log that you would see outside. We don't have the primary colors in our early childhood environments. There's more green. You'll see softer tones, more neutral.
So not the bold blue, red, and yellow.
And why is
that's
that?
Gone? Why is that?
Because the more muted colors are more serene.
Okay.
And they help to foster more natural connections with the world around that children see. They help to reduce stress. They've been known to help children problem solve, and so we have an example in one of our programs where they were doing the nature-based play, and a child recognized a wood chip and wanted to know, more about it and where it comes from.
Okay.
And it started this whole study about things you can do with wood.
So gone are the days where there's, what are those, monkey bars that we had at the playgrounds when we were growing up in the jungle gyms? None of that stuff.
Well, we do have monkey bars too, and things that children can climb on because it promotes gross motor. But it's more of like visually what children are exposed to, and sometimes the more vibrant colors are more stimulating for children, and they need a more toned down environment to learn in.
That is absolutely fascinating because when we think of children's toys, an environment, like you drive past any of a daycare center, all you see is red, yellow, blue, green, those hard
bold colors.
Exactly. And so we associate that with children. Has it been hard to get buy-in on that when you have, again, for people to really relearn how they think about a proper environment for a young child?
I think with most things that are new or something that may be a sidestep from the norm, you're always going to have to provide education around it. And so there are people that, of course, are advocates for nature-based play, and then there are other individuals who maybe want to stick with the more primary colors. And
right.
So,
I mean, hearing you explain why, it makes sense. I mean, you don't want the kids on 10, as they say, and it helps calm them down. Again, it made perfect sense. I just never thought about it that way. So that was completely fascinating.
I want to ask you about the new norms, because kids are back in school now after a pandemic. I know it was tough for them learning at home. Have you noticed any behavioral issues? Because kids are like, now they've got to sit still, pay attention, and learn in school?
Yes, there's definitely, we're still dealing with the adverse consequences of the pandemic, especially for our earliest of learners. When we think about the digital divide and you talk about access to technology and how children really had to learn through technology devices, it doesn't really work when you're dealing with small children. And so,
tough.
Early childhood is really based on face-to-face human interaction inside of a classroom environment, and that's really not something that you can fabricate. And so now we're seeing, as children are returning and they're wearing masks, and the use of masks, you can't verbal or see the way that someone is speaking, and so there are some developmental delays as a result of the use of masks, and there's some ways that you can work to prevent that. But we're also seeing just the trauma associated with not understanding what was happening in your world, or maybe what happened in your home life during that time, that we're working to navigate through with children. And again, that social piece, the biggest piece of early learning and connecting with other families, is learning how to socialize. And so a lot of children are a little bit more hesitant to, get introduced into these environments and connect with peers. And
because for the past 3 years, they've been in that safe space of just mommy, daddy, and other relatives. And now it's just kind of like, a new boy or a new girl walking over to you in your space saying, hi, how are you? And you don't know how to handle that. That's interesting that you would talk about how those skills start to develop, right there in classrooms.
The phone lines are open, 773-591-1690. We have an expert in-house to answer questions about early childhood and other areas as well. But all you grandparents that are out here listening and you need some tips for helping your children, your grandchildren in their early education, give us a call, 773-591-1690. What we're going to do is take a real quick break for traffic and weather. More questions from Ms. Slaughter when we come back.
I met a woman who's becoming a star. She was very beautiful.
We are back on the afternoon show, and we are having a conversation about early childhood education. And we do have a call. We'll get to it in just a moment, but we want to welcome again Miss Karina Slaughter. And right before we go on to break, I mentioned we had a lot of questions. And as we end the hour, what can parents do to help foster their child's outcome in this as well?
Get involved. You are your child's first teacher. You are your child's strongest advocate. The best thing that you can do is get involved. Partner with the teachers in the early learning environments to extend the learning that's happening inside of the environment into your home. Like, listen to your child and be in tune with what your child is saying, and follow up with the program. Like, a good program will value what you have to say, and they will partner with you in making sure that your child truly thrives for generations to come. So the best thing they could do is be an active participant. Sign up to be a part of the parent committee. Like, do whatever is required, to be involved as a parent.
And I love, Karina, how you reminded everybody that the programs that Chicago Commons has to offer are free if you qualify.
Yes.
Just take advantage of those. We were also talking in the commercial break just about how we see sometimes kids out, and you've run into kids, I'm sure, in the programs, which are changing, but you run into kids and you want to touch them all. But at least Chicago Commons is there so that the ones that you can reach, you can touch, you can help change.
Definitely.
You can help change. What'd you say? You want the parents, get on our nerves, come up all the time, but be involved.
Let's take Carl. We've got Carl holding on line one. Thank you, Carl, and you're on WVON.
Carl,
hello?
Good afternoon.
Yes. Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Good. For the conversation, I was wondering about kids on the spectrum. Do you work with kids on the spectrum? If you do, how do you stimulate and find that gift that they have? Hang up and listen.
Great
Thank you,
question.
Carl. That's a great question.
question, Carl. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we definitely welcome all children. We have children who are on the spectrum and other students with inclusive care needs. We do have a process for doing referrals and connecting those individuals to the appropriate resources. And we work with the families to ensure that those children have the right types of plans so that we can also provide the correct supports to them in their classroom environments. And so definitely that is something that we do. Family reviews. We have all types of therapists. We have all types of resources that could assist all children in helping to ensure that they thrive while they're in our programming.
Karina, tell us, where are you located so that people at home listening want to get involved, can get involved, and what's your web address too?
Okay, so the best thing to do is go to the website. It's www.chicagocommons.org. This will give you linkage to all of our programs. We have 4 directly operated sites. We also work with other programs within the community, and so we are in 18 different neighborhoods now. We serve over 1,700 children. I'm sure there's a location near you, so I would definitely encourage you to visit the website for more information.
Chicago.org. You're in 18 different communities, and you've touched 17,000 lives.
Over 1,700 children.
1,700 children. 1,700 children. Now, you are the Senior Vice President of Early Education there at Chicago Commons. What if their kids are older? Is there anything that you can do? Can you touch them still? Because it's never too late.
Yeah, so definitely we have a school-age program out of our Guadalupano Family Center, and I know that some of the agencies that we partner with have school-age programming as well, and that will cover services for children either before or after school, sometimes during the summer camp hours for 5 years to 12 years of age. But we partner with schools in the local communities. And the great thing about Chicago Commons, which is why I'm so connected to the vision and the mission of our organization, is that we're on the ground understanding what's going on in the community. And part of why we were founded and what we're responding to is communal needs. And so we're tapped in. We're
Yes.
listening to what's happening within the school systems, and we're partnering to connect so that we can bridge that gap.
And you're walking this talk because you have a 2- and a 4-year-old, so
do.
you know what some parents are going through. Because that right there, that's a lot.
Yeah, I definitely understand. So I am empathetic to parents' needs, and on that same quest of making sure that my children are afforded the greatest opportunities by way of education so that they can thrive to be whomever they want to be in this world.
Yeah.
How do early childhood education programs support children for generations?
So the biggest thing is setting that foundation. Really, research shows that by 5, all of the foundation of your belief systems and your learning has been implanted. Mm-hmm. And so if we can get children as early as 6 weeks, and even we'll take them 4, we'll take them at 2, and if we can help them to learn the social skills that they need, the cognitive skills, if we can build them with the language skills, if we can wrap them around with the necessary mental supports, if we could build that confidence in them, then they go to school. Yeah. They go to elementary school, and they're those confident beings, and those confident beings grow up to be confident adults, and they break glass ceilings because of the education opportunities that they were afforded. And so we're really all about, leveling up in the under-resourced communities so that they can have the same opportunities that those, for those individuals, they have the same opportunities as those who live in affluent neighborhoods.
Yeah, because those kids in the community that are really poor, who have been poured into, mm-hmm. they go out into the community and pour into other students, and
right.
they're on, and it's like the Brady Bunch box, right?
Right.
It just affects so many people. Again, Karina, thank you so much for joining us. Karina Slaughter, Early Education, Senior Vice President there at Chicago Commons. Again, the website for people who really need that information.
www.chicagocommons.org.
That wasn't so bad, was it? You had a good time with us here at WVON, didn't you? It's hot in here. It's hot in here, but we thank you.
For having me.
International Day of Early Education. We appreciate that.